Sig Sauer P365 macro. Macro means basically 17 rounds. 17 rounds in a flush fit, relatively flush fit magazine. It does protrude a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch maybe. So that's really the big thing, is the 17 round capacity in what is still a pretty small footprint. The other thing you get is the built-in compensator at the front of the slide. Now let's see if the slide release will let it go home. All right, that'll probably loosen up. Very first 17 rounds start now. All right, not too bad. And I do have both of the magazines. Comes with two, in case you didn't understand the meaning of the word both. I have both of the magazines filled with 17 rounds, at least initially. Okay, I still can't close it that way with my shooting thumb. Let's try the opposable thumb. Yeah, that gives me a little bit more leverage. All right, let's see if I can hit only the center this time. Has the X-ray sights, of course, which are just about as good as a sight set can get. And go after another one. I only have one plate because some son of a stole one. Believe that? All right. So basically it feels like a SIG P365. It does have a longer handle because of the 17 round capacity, and most folks are probably going to like the way that feels. I have medium-sized hands and I'm enjoying the extra real estate, so you guys out there with big hands that might complain about some of the really small, like the original P365, probably going to like this, the way this feels. I will do a little bit of comparison. I did take a peek at this compared to the 365XL, and it is virtually the exact same size in terms of length and width and all that. It's just that little bit of height that makes it different. So let me keep shooting and forming an opinion here. All right, I'm able to hit my target. That's always a good thing. And it's not always a given. Oh, just nicked the top, I think. Okay. It is a shooter, I will say that. It is definitely a shooter. I'm trying to feel if this compensator on the slide, which is built into the slide, if it's making any difference. And of course, it's hard to tell when you're only shooting the one gun, and it's the only one that you've shot all day. But I will squeeze in a little bit of a comparison, I think. Try one-handed shooting. Now see right here, I think I can really tell the difference. it does feel like the recoil is very soft. That feels nice. That feels nice shooting with one hand and getting very low recoil. Okay, so I did bring with me the P365XL, and I want to do a little bit of comparison. I don't want to make it a thorough comparison between the two guns, but for quick reference, for those of you thinking about this new pistol, in what ways is it different than just the XL? So that was the idea, and I wanted to do a recoil comparison because obviously the new one has that compensator built into the end of the slide. This is the XL in my hand, does not. However, I wanted to do it more than just, well, gee, here's what it feels like, because you guys know how that is, right? I wanted to do something a little bit more objective. So I thought, well, I'll use the Mantis system because it is awesome at measuring recoil. Problem is, and I didn't notice that until just now when I went to put this Mantis onto the XL, then I remembered, oh, that's right. SIG Sauer does this really stupid thing with their accessory rail on these guns where it's got a closed front, right? You can't slide anything on. You can only clamp something on like that, right? You can't slide anything on the front, which is, it's always been a downside, but now it clearly is even more ridiculous than it appeared to me before. For those of you who have tried to put things on these guns, you've probably encountered this already. I'm probably a little behind the curve on that. So I am happy to say at least that the new one, the Macro, has a real, actual Picatinny rail on the front. So not only is it an open front so that you can slide something onto it, it also has standard slots so that you can, put regular stuff on there. So it's nice to see that they finally are getting with the rest of the world, but it's a shame that I can't do the comparison I wanted to do because there's no way to attach this Mantis device because it has to slide on from the front. So there's no way to attach it to the XL. I will go ahead and put it on the Macro just for fun, just so we can see the numbers. Unfortunately, it's not going to do anything for a comparison. Okay, I have 5 rounds going into the P365 Macro, and I have the Mantis device attached. I have it set for P365, and all the settings are set up for its orientation and all that. So it should be giving me pretty good accurate readings. I'm just going to get a recoil reading for these 5 rounds. And unfortunately, like I said, I can't do a comparison. I wish I could. But I'm just going to use my standard grip. I'm not going to try and fight it extra hard or any of that. Okay, and we'll see what the Mantis says about picking up my magazine off the floor. All right, I'm just going to do a very subjective comparison between the P365XL and the new P365 Macro as far as how I feel the recoil is. So sorry for that. I wish I could have done a better test, but I already ranted about that. So here I do have a good bit of news for you. This is one of the new 17-round magazines for the Macro. This is the P365XL. You're with me so far, right? It fits. Obviously it's not flush, it's a longer magazine, but it fits, locks open, does all the things. It should be perfectly functional. So, and I also tested it in the tiny P365 and it fit and functioned. So I haven't done live fire. I may do that in a minute. So the good news is we have some backward compatibility with the magazines or the new magazines to the pistol, to the older pistols. So that is a good thing. I applaud that. Now somebody, if not SIG, I have no doubt someone will start to make sleeves for that application for both the XL and the smaller P365s. If you are such a company, send me one to test. I'd be happy to test one out for you. All right. Okay, so P365 XL, and I just want to get a feel for recoil. Okay, so, you know, under totally normal circumstances, if this was the only gun I was working with today, I would say the recoil is great. You know, it's very soft, very manageable. Now, the Macro. Oh yeah, it's definitely softer. Definitely softer. Less muzzle rise. Yeah. The compensator is not just a gimmick. Well, it may be a gimmick, but it is a functional gimmick. It does work. It does reduce the muzzle lift of the recoil, and I actually felt less in the palm of my hand as well. So it's not only reducing the amount of muzzle flip, but for you, those of you who like to say muzzle flip, it's reducing that, but it's also reducing the back motion of the recoil as well a little bit. So, all right, kudos on that. Okay, just to be thorough, I have put 5 rounds into the 17 round magazine that came with the macro, and I'm going to use the magazine in the XL, right, to demonstrate and or test that backward compatibility with the magazines. So it's seated, loaded the round fine. Yep, perfect functionality. So we have good backward compatibility with these new magazines, and that is a big plus. Okay, about 20 more rounds through this gun and I will have about 150 through it today. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. No malfunctions, no hint of any kind of a malfunction. It's performing, and it's performing very well. It is fun to shoot. This is also, by the way, an optics ready pistol. I'll get around to doing that. I don't like to, you guys know the drill, right? If you know the channel, I don't like to use an optic right off the bat unless the pistol came out of the box that way. I do like to use the open sights. And these open sights, which are the X-ray sights, are about the best in the business. And I really am enjoying the low recoil. It's definitely not a gimmick. Okay, last magazine before I leave. Let's see if it has loosened up enough to use the slide release. Yes, with my shooting hand. See, that's usually all it takes. Okay, so it is a shooter.